Please be seated. Welcome to the December 2022 School of Nursing Convocation. We are pleased, yes, wonderful to be here. We are pleased to welcome the graduates, friends, and family members who are joining us in person at the Bass Concert Hall on the University of Texas at Austin campus, as well as those of you across the nation and the world who are watching the live stream video. The faculty and other administrators of the University of Texas at Austin School of Nursing are proud today to recognize 83 very special graduates. Among the graduates, we are proud to recognize in this ceremony 2 students who will receive the research-focused Doctor of Philosophy, or PhD, degree, and a student who will receive the highest degree in clinical practice, the Doctor of Nursing Practice. 20 students will receive the Master of Science in Nursing degree, and we are proud to recognize 60 students who will receive the Bachelor's of Science in Nursing degree. As part of our ceremony, I would like to recognize the faculty and the staff of the School of Nursing who have supported our students during this very challenging and educational journey, as well as our many clinical and community partners who've provided the essential experiential learning. Our faculty includes experienced, renowned teachers, clinicians, and researchers who strongly believe that the nursing profession is vital to the public good. Throughout their teaching at all levels of our curriculum, the faculty are committed to preparing students to address the many significant healthcare challenges of the 21st century. Faculty, please stand. Applause. Thank you, and please be seated. I would like to give special recognition to our faculty marshal for today's convocation, Dr. Sharon Carter. Dr. Carter, much like our students, is leaving her faculty position at the end of this semester, and we want to give her a special thank you note for her leadership and dedication to our students and the School of Nursing. Congratulations. I am confident that most of you have heard it said, "What starts here changes the world." Well, I would venture to add, what starts here in this School of Nursing with this faculty and these students and graduates not only changes the world, but helps heal the world. That isn't because we prepare our students with all of the specific technical and clinical skills and knowledge they will need in the professional practice of nursing, although we most certainly do. It isn't because we provide them the necessary foundation upon which they can build successful and rewarding careers in clinical settings or research or academia, although we do that as well. We say, what starts here heals the world, because in the great tradition of the University of Texas at Austin, we prepare our students to be continual learners and courageous leaders whose care for individuals and families in our community combines the latest in the art and science of nursing. The core purpose of the University of Texas at Austin is to transform students' lives for the benefit of society. That has never been more important than in these last 2.5 years, when we face the massive public health crises of the COVID-19 pandemic. Nurses and nursing students have been on the front lines when there were no vaccines and few treatments. Our students and our faculty have worked together in clinical settings and in the community to bring preventive care to all. These students worked collaboratively with students and faculty from nursing, medicine, and pharmacy and social work to administer more than 250,000 COVID-19 vaccines to the UT and local communities. Pretty amazing. It is absolutely fair to say that the need for and the value of nurses, especially the well-educated Longhorn nurse leaders graduating today, has never been greater. I feel incredibly privileged to be here today, in person, among these outstanding graduates and their friends and families who've come to celebrate and recognize their success. I can promise you that these master's and doctoral graduates all understand the urgency and necessity of striving for excellence in healthcare practice and delivery, education, and research. And the last 3 years have reminded the world of how critical nurses and nursing leadership are to not only the quality of care and well-being of our nation, but our very survival. Each one of us will someday need a nurse, and you should know that there is a strong body of evidence supporting that the education of nurses and the quality of nursing care is linked to a variety of positive health outcomes, including decreased hospital readmission rates, decreased infections, and lower mortality rates. So indeed, your very survival is directly linked to the education of your nurses and the quality of nursing care. Excellence in healthcare can be defined and operationalized in many ways, and I certainly expect that it means many different things to each person in this room. But I would suggest that we could all probably agree with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation's position that excellence in healthcare, and more important, excellence in supporting and promoting health in our population, is about providing every person the means and the opportunity to live the healthiest life that they possibly can, so that the opportunity to achieve health is not a matter of chance related to your place of birth, your ethnicity, your income, or other personal factors. This broad vision for health cannot be accomplished without nurses. As I suspect many of you in the audience know, nurses make up the largest group of healthcare professionals. More than 4.3 million nurses in the United States. And year after year, nurses are identified as the most trusted profession by the American public. As we look at the challenges facing us today, the need for healthcare redesign that focuses on value-based care and patient and provider satisfaction, it is absolutely essential that nurses are part of the team leading these efforts. Nurses as a group are strong-willed, and believe me, as a dean, I know this firsthand. And they are passionate about their work. They care deeply about those in their care, regardless if it is at the bedside in an intensive care unit or if they are dealing with an entire healthcare system. Yes, change is difficult. But nurses know how to get difficult things done, because that is what nurses have done every single day of their professional life, and is what you as new graduates will do as well. If we are to make a difference and change the world, then it is imperative that we, and graduates, I'm looking at you, it's imperative that we better communicate a vision and have the courage to change how healthcare is provided in a more equitable fashion. And we must acknowledge the incredible hard work and dedication necessary to see that vision through. My question to all of you graduating today, especially our new Bachelor's of Science in Nursing graduates, is, are you determined to see that these positive changes happen? And perhaps more importantly, have you considered what role you will take in making these changes happen? We will now have congratulatory remarks from a representative of the graduating graduate students. Tony Chris Nanaka, a graduating PhD nursing student, will speak on behalf of the graduate students.
Thank you, Dean, for such a gracious introduction. Appreciate that. My name is Tony Chris, and I'm great to be here. What an exciting day, a special day to celebrate our graduates. It is a great honor to serve as your graduate student speaker. I feel so privileged to be standing here and sharing this special moment with each and every one of us. I'd like to first recognize all the dignitaries in the arena with us today, the dean, administrators, faculty and staff, and every single individual that has in some way contributed to making today such a special day of celebration. Thank you. I'd also like to join in recognizing all the folks in the stands, the parents, siblings, spouses, friends, loved ones, and special others who have devoted their time and love to supporting us, the graduates. Thank you for being here. I'm sure all of us in this room have seen movies that depict college life as fun-filled, endless party nights, and simply an ecstatic experience. Wow, my peers in this room today can emphatically confirm that those movies are quite misleading. In fact, they specifically for God to portray what the life of a nursing student looks like. You know, you all would agree with me, right? Waking up at 4 a.m. on clinical days, memorizing every single lab parameters that you can think of right before the exam, being tested every other week on voluminous textbooks and disease processes, taking comprehensive exams at the end of each semester, and having to pass the board at the end of it all. These are just the highlights of what we endured as nursing students. We had our fun at hospital and simulation rooms. Our endless party nights happened in the library with cups filled with coffee and espresso. I just hope that by briefly sharing these unique experiences, lived experiences of nursing students, that our loved ones here in this room would understand why we sometimes chose academics over fun family events, because we were having way too much fun at UT. You know? The fact is, the life of a nursing student is hectic and demanding. Very hectic and demanding, especially at a tier 1 academic institution like the University of Texas at Austin. But you, our loved ones, have supported us and have graciously put up with our mood swings and somewhat unpleasant attitudes as we pursued our dreams to be educated in one of the greatest schools in our nation. I know how families like mine who are in the audience today have had to sacrifice in the past few years to support our academic journey so that we all will be here today. So to all families, relatives, and loved ones, thank you once again from the very bottom of our hearts. I can tell you that we will forever treasure the sacrifices you've made. So thank you. Now, my fellow graduates, the graduates of the University of Texas at Austin School of Nursing, class of 2022, congratulations. You did it, and we did it. It is done. Can you imagine? It is done. I must say that I'm incredibly proud of each and every one of us. So proud of you. We have earned this spotlight. We sure have. We've overcome numerous obstacles to be here today. We represent communities from across the country and across the globe. We came to UT School of Nursing for a common goal, which is to learn and be taught by nationally and internationally renowned nurse professors, nurse clinicians, nurse scientists, and nurse leaders. Today, we have achieved our goals. By graduating from the University of Texas at Austin School of Nursing, we have each demonstrated intellectual competencies and critical clinical skills that exceeds nationally established benchmarks for nurse clinicians, nurse leaders, and nurse scientists. We are so ready for the world. Very much ready. So proud of you all. The last 3 years has not been easy for all of us in this arena. The pandemic, we all know, gave our nursing profession the ultimate test of a lifetime. As we all know, many nurses died on the front lines, protecting the lives and serving the needs of others. I was there. I saw and experienced it with my own eyes. So while we are gathered here today for this convocation and celebration of our graduates, I want to ask each one of us in this room to take a moment and reflect on the bravery in the hearts and souls of those sitting here before us. These incredible and selfless future nurse clinicians, nurse leaders, and nurse scientists. These graduates that are commencing into the nursing profession at varying ranks within our discipline. These graduates that have seen the sacrifices that nursing so often demands, Sacrifices that could dictate laying your life on the line to save and protect others. Sacrifices that often demand that nurses prioritize the needs of others over their own. We saw these heroic attributes of nurses on full display during the worst of the pandemic. Despite all this, brave individuals like my peers in this very room are chosen by their own accord to join the nursing profession or to advance into the varying academic ranks within our discipline. So to my fellow graduates, thank you for choosing nursing. Thank you for choosing to serve the public, to protect and to save the lives of others. Thank you for your bravery. Graduates, the road ahead of us is quite promising. I can tell you that. It is filled with endless opportunities. As we are now being propelled into the world, the real world, the world outside this building, of course, we must recognize that life isn't easy. Life isn't simple. From this very moment, our lives and going onwards, being successful and attaining our dreams, achieving our goals and aspirations will require more than just hard work. Literally, there will be no textbook, no chapters, no research articles to tell you or teach us how to navigate life. That was something I learned quickly after I completed my undergraduate studies. See, when I finished my undergraduate work, you can see my peers who just finished their undergraduate staring at me. I soon learned to embrace failure. Unlike in academia, hard work generally equals success. In the real world out there, we can work really, really hard towards a goal and still not attain that goal that we desired. Since my undergraduate degree, I have experienced failure in multiple instances, but those experiences became the biggest teaching moments of my life. So I urge all of us graduates to embrace failure as we navigate the real world. Let us conceptualize failure as a step towards success, and let us never give up when we encounter failure at any point in time in this our life's journey. Furthermore, during my time getting a master's degree, I learned that success is attained together with like-minded individuals. I learned that we are bigger and greater when we collaborate with each other. That we are bigger and greater when we see the good in each other. And that we are bigger and greater when we see past the differences we have and focus on the similarities that we share. These lessons on the significance of teamwork, collaboration, and conceptualizing failure as a step towards success completely changed my worldview. It taught me to appreciate every single person that I encounter in life, and it taught me to be fiercely resilient. While pursuing my doctoral philosophy degree, I was simultaneously serving on multiple public and clinical leadership roles. These roles taught me important life lessons that I want to briefly share with all of us in this room. First, as a young immigrant kid from Nigeria with very big dreams, several people told me that I was overly ambitious. I struggled with this label and often thought, perhaps I need to dream less, or perhaps I need to be less ambitious. But my currently lived life experiences have affirmed to me that there's nothing wrong with being overly ambitious. To add more context to what I just said, about 12 years ago, I arrived in the United States, city of Dallas to be precise, as an international student with a very funny accent and only 15 pounds, British pounds, not dollars, in my pocket. I was just a teenager. I had big dreams, dreams that others thought was unattainable given my background. But in just a decade, just a decade. I found myself leading the largest COVID-19 intensive care unit as a nurse leader and a clinical epidemiologist at Parkland Hospital in Dallas. Parkland being one of Thank you. Parkland being one of the largest and biggest hospital systems in our nation. I also find myself directing and influencing COVID-19 response strategies as a health policy advisor to the mayor of the city of Dallas. All of that in the same city that had welcomed me but barely tolerated me just a decade earlier. So, my fellow graduates, this is for you. Be ambitious, be bold, be a nurse, dream big, strive to get to the very top if that's what your heart desires. Do not, and I repeat, do not allow anybody whosoever to stop you. Be unapologetically you. Life as we know it is not easy. It has a unique tendency to be challenging, and as most of us, if not all of us, can attest to. Life can throw things at us at the most unexpected times. We face obstacles that can make us question our very own existence. But as nurses, being the most trusted health profession, we are judged by a different standard in this society. Therefore, being always gracious and showing love to others, even at our most difficult moments, is an important attribute that we nurses must embody. As nurses, the rigor of our academic training and competencies that we have to attain uniquely prepares us to serve the population at the most vulnerable times of their lives. I'm sure all of you in this room have had moments during our clinical experiences that made us realize why we are called to be nurses and why it is important that we love and show grace while interacting with our peers, patients, and patient families. Reflecting on a personal experience that I had during one of my shifts as a surgical trauma intensive care nurse at Parkland, an incident reaffirmed to me why it is critical that we nurses embody grace in all that we do. It was a very rainy and stormy Friday afternoon. I was commuting from Austin back to Dallas. With the storm, the road was terrible. I was stuck in Waco's construction traffic, which I feel like they completed it finally. That traffic on I-35 for over an hour. As I approached Dallas, I had a nail in one of my tires. Goodness, I was so frustrated. I know we all have had one of those days. Anyway, I finally made it to Dallas at about 6 p.m. As I was about to settle with family, I got a call from the hospital informing me that we are short-staffed. On top of that, we had a level 1 trauma patient coming in from Odessa, several hundred miles away from Dallas. Being exhausted, I tried to negotiate with my managers, which is my undergraduate will be doing this very soon. Tried to negotiate with my manager that I had just returned from out of town. I'm exhausted. I had not slept, and I had been up since 4:30 a.m. Cut to 3 hours later. I was at the hospital in my scrubs, leading the unit at the night as the night shift charge nurse. Everything that could possibly go wrong on a critical care unit happened during that night shift. The electronic healthcare record system went down for hours. They understand, because we've seen it all. Well, we couldn't scan medication or document in the electronic health record. We had to go old school with manual documentation. We all know how it feels. We had 3 code blues, 1 patient death, sad, and one of our young nurses significantly struggled emotionally after losing a patient. It was her first patient death experience. A family member who had just lost a loved one lashed out at me out of anger and called me several unpleasant names. Despite these challenges, I remained calm. I knew I had had a bad day, but I recognized that every single person on my unit, the nurses, the patients, and the patient's family members, were all having the worst days of their lives. So what I did was show love, show grace, and put a smile on my face. At about 6 a.m., 6:45 a.m., the next morning, the shift ended. The family member who had called me names earlier found me at the nursing station and apologized to me. She gave me one of the biggest hugs that I've ever received in my life. Truth be told, I needed that big hug after surviving that night. She said these exact words to me, and I recall it. I vividly recall it. You were called to be a nurse. It meant the world to me. At the end of the shift, I went to all my fellow nurses and thanked them for their excellent patient care. I left work emotionally drained, but I had a great joy in my heart knowing that my patients, their family members, felt so loved and cared for, and that my fellow nurses felt supported. So my graduates, always be gracious and show love in your practice as a nurse. Graduates, no matter how high up we go in life, no matter how high up, no matter how well accomplished we become, let us not forget what it was like to be at the starting point. Embrace humility, be humble, respect those who are coming after us, and treat them with kindness, compassion, and love. Reach out to them and help them as much as we can. Then help them a little bit more. Give them hope, mentor them, and nurture their dreams. Lastly, never stop learning. Take pride in being a lifelong learner. Like the great Florence Nightingale said, let us never consider ourselves finished nurses. We must be learning all of our lives. My fellow graduates, what begins here changes the world. I'm strongly convinced that each and every one of us are destined to make our mark in this world and within the field of nursing. As we graduate today, let us take pride in how far we've come. Have faith in how far we can go. Dream big. Be ambitious. Be gracious. Be humble. Be a nurse. Never stop learning. And love without limits. Most importantly, never forget to enjoy the journey. This is something a very dear friend of mine has instilled in me. I love you all. I'm so, so proud with each and every one of us. And may God bless us all. Once again, congratulations, graduates. So pleased to be here.
Thank you, Tony, Chris. It's been a joy to have you as a student, and we're so proud of you now as an alumni. We will now have congratulatory remarks from a representative of the graduating undergraduate students. Abigail Jordan Thurman, a graduating Bachelor's of Science in Nursing students, will speak on behalf of the students. Abigail.
I'm a little bit shorter than everybody else. So. Hi, everyone. Hi. My name is Abigail Thurman, and I am so honored to be the undergraduate student speaker for today. I'd like to start out just by sharing my sincerest gratitude for everybody here who has supported the class of 2022. So first, all of our School of Nursing faculty and staff, I want to thank all of you for the time, energy, and expertise you have poured into making sure that we become safe, effective, and intellectually curious practicing nurses. I'd like to take this opportunity to publicly acknowledge our amazing professors in particular, some for their leadership, mentorship, and for inspiring us to think about healthcare implications beyond the bedside, others for working tirelessly to make their classroom and the world at large a more safe and welcoming place, and all of them for instilling in us the importance of working with integrity and compassion. Please know, looking at y'all now, please know that you have not only succeeded in making an impact in our lives, but also in the lives of our future patients. To our family, friends, roommates, spouses, and all those here who have supported the individuals graduating today, success and accomplishment is not a one-person show, and truly none of us would be here without you guys. So y'all's support has put new BSN, MSN, and doctorally prepared nurses into a world that desperately needs nurses. What a service y'all have done and an accomplishment on y'all's behalf today as well too, so thank you so much. Yeah, give me a round of applause. I'd now like to speak to the class of 2022 directly. Hi y'all. It's me. A lot of y'all know me, so I don't really have any advice to give on the stage right now, but what I do have is a little bit of reflection and a little bit of gratitude. When thinking about what I'd like to say during this speech, I reflected on my time at UT, at the School of Nursing, and I reflected on the class of 2022, and 3 words kept coming to my mind: brave, detail-oriented, and a little bit intense. I can see my classmates nodding because they're like, yeah, that's totally us. The good thing is that I have heard these are all things that make amazing nurses. So I start with brave. I say brave because we entered nursing school at a very unique time. Having clinicals during the pandemic, learning to assess each other in full personal protective equipment. I mean, gown, gloves, face shield, the whole 9 yards. Having to get creative on how to continue research with COVID and social distancing protocols, navigating an at times volatile healthcare environment and world climate, and still choosing to be here, choosing to be on this path because we believed in the righteousness of it, even among the uncertainty. That's brave. As my very Texan mother would say, we're charging hell with a bucket of ice water. In this reflection on what has been a little bit of an unorthodox nursing school experience, I can't help but think back to something that one of my FIG mentors told me freshman year. FIG, F-I-G, stands for Freshman Year Interest Group, for those of you who are not aware. And if you were in that freshman year interest group with me, then you might remember this, but our mentor said that we would have to get used to, quote, feeding each other if we were going to be successful in nursing school. And I remember thinking this was a very strange thing to say. I was not getting the analogy. I was imagining feeding my peer a piece of cake or something. But I have found this sentiment of living and learning through the necessity of cohort support to be one of the most prophetic statements that has undoubtedly rang true throughout my education. While learning and stumbling and growing, we have also been building a community, which is something to be proud of. I know that we've built a community because of the ways that we've shown up for each other. Little things like late night studying together, sitting in stressed huddles minutes before exams, preparing for dissertation proposals, early clinical mornings. I mean, seeing each other before the sun has risen with messy hair, sleeping eyes, that's just a breeding ground for friendship and camaraderie. I don't know how you come out of that without a sense of community, quite honestly. For me personally, I think of surprise baby showers, the mini the mini birthday celebrations in class, and I think of my cohort's group chat, which has probably saved me more times than I'd like to admit. Yeah. In a healthcare system with dwindling resources, our greatest resource has been each other. And while we have formed our micro communities within our class, within the undergraduate and graduate cohorts, that is not the only community that we now belong to. We now also belong to a vast alumni system of the University of Texas. Yeah. As an ending note to this effect, I'd like to tell a story about a patient that I took care of, and I promise that this story is true and not something that came out of a Hallmark movie. While working as a patient care technician during the COVID pandemic, which is a job that many students have while working towards their RN license, I took care of an elderly man on a busy medical surgical floor. With an end-stage cancer diagnosis, among many other comorbidities, this man was very sick, and he had become sicker and weaker over the course of several weeks in the hospital. As I took care of him, he became unable to speak or communicate, unable to leave his bed, and unable to eat or drink. I can still picture in my mind his lips because they had become so dry and chapped. So every shift I would apply lip moisturizer to his lips and wipe the inside of his mouth with a wet sponge to try and make him more comfortable. And I could tell that he was grateful for the care he received because he'd always smile at me after I did this. But that smile was the only ounce of communication that I ever got from him. Towards the end, we weren't even completely sure if he understood us. While taking care of him, I'd always talk to him and narrate the care that I was giving, which is something that our professors taught us to do. But after a while, I stopped getting any type of confirmatory response back. This patient, this man, had 4 adult children who were simply amazing. They would rotate shifts so that almost always he had a family member at the bedside with him. And usually they would sit and talk to him and reminisce about funny childhood memories, or sometimes they watched baseball on the TV in the hospital room, which was his favorite sport to watch. And after many weeks of caring for him, I came to know this patient and his family very well. And his children discovered that I was a nursing student at the University of Texas School of Nursing. And his kids explained, "Oh, what a coincidence. Dad was a professor at UT for over 30 years. And I, not expecting a response, turned to him and I said, "Well, that's amazing. Hook 'em horns, sir." And then the man amazed us by wordlessly curling his fingers into the hook 'em horn sign we all know so well, with a look of beaming pride on his hollowed face. I have never, to this day, I still tear thinking about it, I have never to this day had so much pride for my university as I did at that moment. That's what community means. That's the weight that saying we are UT nurses carries. It's a legacy of excellence, advocacy, compassion, and above all else, connection. This graduation is amazing, not only because it's celebrating what we have finished here and earning our degree, but it's also a celebration of the legacy that we now get to join. It's a celebration of our accomplishment, yes, for sure, but also of everything that we found and lost and created and grew out of and learned to love along the way. I am so grateful for my experience at UT, and I'm even more grateful that we got to do it together. Because the work that we have signed up to do, y'all, the work of nurses, nurse practitioners, nurse educators, or scientists and researchers is hard work, newsflash. It's brave work, but most acutely, it's important work. So that being said, let us go forth and continue to choose this path and be the bringers of peace, comfort, and justice. Let us go forth and do good in a chaotic world, in a world that needs us. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations to the class of 2022, and hook 'em horns.
This group is a hard act to follow, but now the moment you've all been waiting for. At this time, we will recognize individually the candidates for graduation. We will begin with our doctoral and master's degree graduates and conclude with our graduates from the Bachelor's of Science in Nursing program. Our master's and doctoral graduates will be hooded as they come across the stage. As our new BSN students cross the stage, they will receive the official University of Texas at Austin School of Nursing pin. Pins indicate the initial nursing program of a nurse and date to the times of Florence Nightingale, when they were viewed as similar to military insignia. Each School of Nursing has its own unique pin for its graduates. And on the pin our new nurses will receive today, they will note the star representing the state of Texas and symbols from the UT Austin Academic Shield. And most importantly, the Latin words quo ducat officium are on the pin, which translate as wherever duty leads. These words are part of our official pen for decades, but they have special meaning given the many contributions of nurses and students on the front lines of this pandemic. Graduates, I hope you will wear this pin with pride and that it will serve as a continued source of inspiration for you in your chosen profession. We have a team assisting with the recognition of degree candidates. Dr. Gail Timmerman, our Senior Associate Dean for Academic Programs and Professor. Dr. Alexandra Garcia, Assistant Dean for Graduate Programs and current Graduate Advisor. Dr. Laura Murphy, our incoming Graduate Advisor. Dr. Ben Nguyen, our Associate Dean for Student Affairs. Dr. Anna Todd, Assistant Dean for Undergraduate Programs. And Dr. Lee Goldstein, Clinical Associate Professor and Director of the Learning Enhancement and Academic Progress Center. And Dr. Larissa Brunke. And Dr. Shalonda Horton. Dr. Timmerman will now present by name the graduates who've completed their doctoral study in nursing and those who completed their study towards the Masters of Science in Nursing. Dr. Garcia will hood the graduate students assisted by Dr. Murphy, and Dr. Ben Nguyen will also assist us on the stage.
Will the graduate degree candidates please stand and come forward? First, we will recognize the Doctor of Philosophy in Nursing recipients. Tony Chris Oliseabuka Naka. Karen Purcell. Our next candidate is for the Doctor of Nursing Practice, Sarah Garcia Portillo. We are now going to recognize our Master of Science in Nursing recipients. Renata Aguirre Mijares. Ashley Arsino. Teresa Diane Burnt. Kimberly Stone Borger. Erin Nicole Brown. Jessica Buechler. Lucy Chisholm. Yuri Dalia Gomez. Kevin C. Goodlett. Mercedes Harris. Ingrid Mason. Lauren McGettrick. Armando Medina. Kathleen O'Brien. Van T. Van Kuan. Megan June Romano. Ryan Scott. Brittany Smith. Hannah Yerby. Crystal P. Zabaleta. Congratulations, graduates. Dr. Todd will now present the names of the graduates who completed their bachelor's degree of science in nursing. Dr. Lee Goldstein and Dr. Larissa Brungot will pin the undergraduate students, and Associate Dean Van Nguyen will also join us.
Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree come forward? Lucy Phelan. Reagan Milliken. Sydney Jones. Peyton Rougeau. Julie Francis. Kelby Brookstra. Kennedy Page Huff. Vanessa Sabre. Lorraine Lundberg. Kendra Miller. Madison Wood. Charlotte Noel Kaminsky. Allison Elizabeth White. Mary Madeline Lowe. Camille Bourne. Abigail Jordan Thurman. Lavisa K. Nylander. Megan Nicole Ridley. Rayleigh Calhoun. Jillian Adele Rodriguez. Mary Beth Ballarina. Riddhi Bhakta. Alexa Gass. Taylor Esparza. Julia del Aguila. Schuster. Jenny Dang Ma. Catherine Wang. Mary Grace Scales. Corinne Lemaire. Allison Grace Wong. Samantha Louise Madenjian. Kaylee Kitto. Emily Minor. Nicole Caden. Anna Marie Van Heerden. Carolyn Fowler. Miranda Megan Rivera. Emma Faith Trapp. Hannah Arlott. Jordan Roby. Kinsley Cahill. Hannah Rosie Ahuja. Eliza Carolyn Schaefer. Mercy Angela Hallhill. Adorubeni Blessing Osunjimi. Chantal Carolina Calderon. Daisy Aileen Alonso Moreno. Destiny Destiny Monique Alexander. Amani Unique Jacques. Joyce Garcia. Marissa May Liu. Adriana Chavez. Hansel Bay. Gayla Ann Hewson. Eunice Jerry Kanyongo. Olivia Montana Espinosa. Brianna Vadlika. Omar Cardona.
Congratulations to each and every graduate of the class of December 2022. Would all degree candidates now please rise, turn, and recognize your parents, spouses, relatives, and friends, all those who have been essential to your success. I know that these prospective graduates join us in expressing our sincere gratitude to each of you who made their journey possible. Graduates, please be seated. Not quite done. We are very proud of the achievements and accomplishments today of all of our graduates. We know they will excel with integrity and the spirit that nothing is impossible. as Tony Chris so inspired us. They will serve as leaders in nursing in Texas and beyond. And the quality of nursing and healthcare will be enhanced by their leadership, critical thinking, and clinical judgment skills that they will use to serve society by promoting the comfort, dignity, and health of those they care for in their communities, around the nation, and around the world. Congratulations to each of you and your families and friends who now have their very own nurse to turn to for help and guidance in health and wellness. Following today's convocation, we ask that guests please remain seated until the platform party and all of the graduates have cleared the auditorium. Thank you to all of you who have joined us in person for this wonderful celebration and recognition today, and for those who have joined us virtually. Congratulations to each and every one of our December 2002 graduates, and hook 'em.